Hallo, auf einmal sitze ich hier. Wie ihr eben die ganze Zeit lesen konntet, wir reden jetzt über Hex, oder das steht hier sogar immer noch. Neben mir sitzt Corey Jones. Maybe you could introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Corey Jones. I'm the president and CEO of Hex Entertainment, and we make Hex Shards of Fate.
Yeah, and what exactly is your job at Hex?
So I'm the president and CEO, so I'm in charge of everything eventually, I guess.
Okay, and how did you start with Hex?
So how did Hex begin?
Yeah.
So Hex actually started off as a dream. So I really wanted to make a trading card game mixed with an MMO. I had been in the games industry for 23 years now, and had always been a hardcore trading card game player. And I created the World of Warcraft trading card game, and that was sort of a step towards this idea of an MMO meeting a trading card game. And Hex was just this dream that I had where you could make a fully digital trading card game and then marry it to all this really neat MMO RPG content. And that's what we've done. We've tried to reinvent sort of what a digital TCG can be, making it much deeper, much more creative. For us, the backbone of all good game design starts with the player being creative. And if you look at an RTS or a first-person shooter, how you build your base and how you deploy your units, that's all creative. And so for me, I felt like TCGs, which are so inherently creative, making decks and how you use it and the strategies, if we could take what was great about that and then just go to the next level and make some really incredible stuff. And that's where stuff like our socketed cards. You've seen socketed items in RPGs in the past, but you've never seen that in a TCG. So having a card that you can plug a gem into and change what it does, that really does sort of elevate what a TCG can be. And that's been really remarkable. And I think we've done a real good job sort of reinventing what a trading card game could be.
Yeah, and what else is special about Hex?
Well, I mean, those are some big, the socketed cards. We also have a full RPG experience we're building into it. So at the end of the year, we're actually launching the campaign mode. And campaign mode is where you're gonna actually be able to make a character, choose from the 8 races, the 6 classes. You're gonna level up, and you're gonna have a skill tree that you get to plug all these numbers into and sort of, again, change how your deck works, how your deck building works. And that PvE experience actually has a full immersive linear story built into it as well. So as you unlock dungeons and play through them, you're gonna be, figuring out sort of these larger storylines in the world of Entrath. And it really does have everything you would expect in a traditional RPG, but it's married to a trading card game. And that's, I think, pretty remarkable, pretty special. One of the things we launched recently, which was sort of a little first taste of the PvE, is our Frost Ring Arena. And so the Frost Ring Arena is this mode where you can play against the computer. You play a bunch of opponents, and then you get to fight a boss. You get to get drops. So one of the things in our game, it wouldn't be an RPG without loot and without an equipment system. And so when you have a character that you've made, you actually get to equip him with up to 6 pieces of equipment. And the equipment, the way it works is, and again, very different than your standard RPG. It doesn't really change your health, or it doesn't change all your baseline RPG sort of mechanics. What it does is it changes how your deck works, because we're a TCG. And so every card in the game has 2 pieces of equipment associated with it. And so you can get the card, but you don't have the equipment yet. And that's why you do the dungeons, or you do the Frost Ring Arena. You get to actually collect that equipment. So you may have a card that you love very much, and like, oh, I've got to go get the equipment for it because I want to wear that equipment, so when I play it in my deck, it's much better.
Yeah.
And so it makes for a really, really fun sort of, again, sandbox, creative gameplay.
Maybe you could show us a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So,
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
Why don't I show you really quick one of the other features that we have? We recently introduced something called Stardust. And the way Stardust works is, TCG players love to modify the cards. They love to make them their own. And so one of the things that we recently included was this Stardust system. So you can get Stardust through the PvE experience, where you can buy it with gold, which is our soft currency. And what it does is, I'll show you how this is very cool. What it does is actually give you an extended art version of your card. And so you can see,
Yes.
right? Isn't that amazing? So
Yeah,
for TCG players, I mean, I show normal people who don't play trading card games this, they're like, okay, whatever, who cares? But I show TCG players and their mouth drops open because they love modifying their cards. And I'm a hardcore TCG player, so this makes me very excited.
Yeah. I love the artwork of the trading card games
thank
because
you.
I draw myself. I draw. It's my hobby, and I love to draw trading card game
You
characters.
should draw a card for us
Yeah,
sometime.
yeah,
That's awesome.
sure.
So you can see the difference,
Yeah.
this big extended piece. It reveals more of the art. I mean, and when you play this card, it looks so great on the game board. And then when you zoom into it, it actually does show you the text, so no one can get confused about how to play. Here, let's do one more. I just love it so much. Now it's all green because that's an uncommon. You can see, wow. See, it really does unlock pieces of the art that you don't get to see.
Yeah, great.
In the regular version. So that's Stardust. That's a little feature we just put in recently, kind of a fun thing. But why don't I show you the Frost Ring Arena? We just actually launched our third set of cards, Armies of Myth, and it's doing great. We put in an asynchronous mode as well. So now you can play this thing called Gauntlet, and what it does is it lets you play sealed deck, and you get to actually come and go as you please. So you can play someone, and if you win or lose, doesn't matter, great. And then you go to the next one, or you can stop and come back later. If you get 5 wins, you're out. If you get 3 losses, you're out. And depending on your win-loss record, you actually win lots of product. It's really, really cool. So this is the Frost Ring Arena. This is a Hogarth, and he's this this wizard that's been driven mad by this giant chunk of sapphire up in the northern part of the world. And he has this frozen arena, and all the ghosts of the people who used to be this, the people that populated this area are now all compelling him to summons up these frozen versions of champions from Mentrath, and that's who you get to fight. So I'm gonna try and pick a good deck.
So what's your favorite deck? Do you have a favorite deck and tactic?
It's all over the board. I got to tell you, there are so many fun decks in the game. That's one of the things. I mean, with a third set of cards, you're talking about close to 1,000 PvP cards available at this point. And I got to say, there are so many amazing, creative build-around strategies in Hex that I'm always finding new ways to have fun. I'm kind of a Johnny player. Johnny players are the ones that want to come up with crazy decks and see how they work. And there's just no limit to that in Hex because, again, it is focused on you being creative as a player. And that, for I think many people, is the most gratifying thing about playing a trading card game. And so Hex sort of has that in spades and really does create something brand new. You've never seen anything like it. And I feel like once people jump into the Frost Ring Arena, it's free to play. Our game, you can jump in, we'll give you a starter deck to begin with. We'll let you do these little starter deck trials, and you can win some more cards. You actually get to win gold in the Frost Ring Arena. You see down here we have gold sacks and little treasure chests, and that's where the different equipment and cards come from. And so as you play through this, you're going to be winning that stuff. And what's really great about Hex is we're not one of those BS free-to-play games where it's like, hey, it's fun, and then it gets terrible until you spend money, and then it's, hey, it's fun again. What we do is we let you play the Frost Ring Arena and all of our PvE that's coming in the future. Play it as much as you want, and win tons of gold and cards and equipment, and take it to the auction house. We have a full-featured auction house in the game, and the auction house, nothing is gated, so anything that you earn or win in the game, you're actually able to sell it in the auction house. And right now, our gold is so valuable because of some of the fun things we've put in the game to use gold on, that you make about $1 US an hour playing our game. So within a few hours, you can earn enough gold to buy a pack of cards. And so that's, I think, a pretty remarkable thing for that free-to-play player, giving them access to absolutely everything in the game just through playing.
Can you buy specific cards?
Yeah, the auction house has everything. So any card
great.
that you could possibly want that comes out of the packs, that comes out of the PvE experience, they're all in the auction house right now.
Yeah.
And again, we have a really robust secondary market. I mean, sometimes you could be playing the Frost Ring Arena, find a piece of rare equipment that sells for $3 or $4. So we have this really great economy built into the game, and we have some stuff that's actually worth quite a bit of money.
Or if you need one specific card for your deck, so it would be much more awesome, but you can't get it from play, and yeah, it's great.
You can go right to the auction house and get it on the auction house.
Look for that.
So I'll show you just a quick bit of this battle. What I'm doing here is I'm fighting another champion, the Mentor of the Grave, the frozen version of her.
That's cute.
And that's me. I'm Bonoshi, one of our evil shin hair rabbits. I think the shin hair are probably our most popular race. Everyone loves evil rabbits for some reason.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. It's the craziest thing. So I'll hit this battle champion. You can see, we've actually tried to make the battle boards, which you're going to see in 1 second here. We're trying to theme them, and I think we have the most beautiful digital TCG there is out there right now. They're fully 3D environments, and so what we've done is we've let the cards interact with those environments, and I'll show you with the resource system in a second here. I'll go ahead and play first. We're loading up here.
So the overlay changes every time.
Well, depending on where you are. So our regular PvP has sort of a more standard battle board. I'm gonna keep this hand, but for so Holgor's here, he's teasing us. He's saying that we're not very good, so maybe he's gonna make our opponent easier for us to give us a chance. So he lowered her health by 5 to 15.
Oh.
Now you can see, like when I play a resource, how it pops off the card there, and it sort of lights up the environment. This is a fully, like I said, 3D environment, and I'll go ahead and be done. I'm actually wearing a couple of pieces of equipment here, and this changes what the card does. So I have the headband of the Inquisitor, so it gives them all life drain, which is what lets me gain health when they attack. And I've got the fungal bloom, which is for the death cap. This is a shroomkin, our mushroom race. It makes them a little more powerful as well. And so this is an example of playing in the PvE environment. And so you're actually fighting a AI opponent here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Inquisition. And so what I get to do is I get to look at her hand and then pick one of those cards and make them discard it. Look at this. And it can't be a resource. So, I don't want to have to fight this headless executioner. He's a big dude. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pick that and force her to discard. And next turn I'll be able to cast the death cap. Oh, he did. Oh no, he didn't do the same thing. I thought he had the same card here. So again, this is a great example of some pretty fun gameplay. So my fungal bloom, it has lethal, and it must be blocked. So when I attack, he's got to block it, and if he can't kill it back, he's gonna definitely gonna kill his troop, which is great. And so we have this is the first, as I said, the first piece of the first. Oh, look, he cast Call from the Grave, so he pulled back that guy that I got rid of, and so now he's gonna, unfortunately, probably be able to cast him here eventually. So one of the great things about the PvE content is that, as I said, it unlocks lots of fun equipment and lots of fun cards. So I'm gonna go ahead and attack here because he has to block with everyone. No, with at least one guy here. Uh-oh. The witch. Oh, the witch caught my my Zentos Inquisitor and gave it -2. So now he's not going to do much for me because when I cast him, he's already dead. And that's one of the things about the game that's very interesting. In Hex, we've done lots of stuff you could only accomplish in a digital card game. There's this idea of permanence. So for instance, it'd be very hard to put tokens on a card that was in your hand in a physical game, but in this game, you can actually change the card. So it's now a -1, and it stays that way. So even if it goes to the discard pile, later on in the game, I pull it back out, it's still a -1. So there's this idea of permanence in Hex, which I think is a very cool thing. And so this is the Frost Ring Arena. So my zombie plague went off, which looks at 3 cards from his deck and does -1 to each of those cards. And if one of them is destroyed, it actually makes a little zombie for me. So I got a free zombie out of that. Now here's another fun card, Relentless Corruption. What it does is it actually lets me grab a card out of my opponent's deck and put it into my hand. So now I get to play it, and it had escalation, which means that every time I cast it, it grabs one more card. So every version of that card in my deck escalated, and now next time I draw one of those, and there's 4 in there, next time I draw one of those, I get to cast it, and it grabs 2 cards. The next time I draw it, it grabs 3 cards. And so what I'm doing is I'm stealing cards from his deck. Again, something that you're probably not going to see in a traditional trading card game, and again, one of those really cool little digital-only things that Hex has been able to do. I'm very proud of the game. We've actually we've built so much innovation into it, and I think anyone that jumps in and gives it a try that likes TCGs, and even if you haven't played TCGs in the past, we have a really great tutorial. We walk you through, sort of how to play a TCG, and I think it's one of the best ways to sort of pick up card gaming.
When did you start to develop Hex?
Hex has been in development for about 4 years now. We did a Kickstarter about 2 years ago, and we raised $2.5 million. At the time, it was one of the biggest gaming Kickstarters ever, and it was absolutely amazing, the response that we had. I mean, one of the things that we're very blessed with in Hex is somebody get rid of this guy again. He thinks he's so clever. I Inquisitioned him again. I'm fighting that headless horseman, the headless executioner, in his hand. One of the great things about Hex is that we have this very remarkable community. And so the people that came out of the Kickstarter had sort of something in common. They were all a little older, a little more mature, very creative. They really could see the vision and the dream of what we were trying to accomplish. And what that allowed us to do is sort of start off on the right foot with our community, because they were all so positive, so loving for the game. And everyone that's joined has sort of been immersed in, oh, look at this. He made me discard 2 cards. That's terrible. They're so loving and supportive of the game, and as a community, they support each other, and it's just remarkable. So remember that card before? Now it's escalated, and it lets me take 2 of my opponent's cards. So let's try that again and draw 2 cards from my opponent. That's pretty good.
You already had some tournaments. Do you plan doing some bigger tournaments soon?
Yes, absolutely. Esports is a big part of what Hex is going to be in the future. We've announced our first $100,000 tournament. So coming up here pretty quick, we're going to be doing qualifiers, and the people who do qualify are going to be flown to Irvine, where we're going to film the finals, and everyone's going to get to sort of have this really neat esports experience, and they're going to be competing for a purse of $100,000. So a pretty remarkable esports start for Hex, and we think that's just the start. In the future, we're definitely going to continue to do these big esports. Every quarter, we would like to have a pretty large tournament. Even now, I mean, if you're into PvP, playing against other players, even now we offer a pretty robust environment. And what that means is, anytime you jump in day or night, boy, he got that guy into play. He was not kidding. Every time you jump in, you're able to find somebody to play against, and so we have draft, which is a really popular way to play TCGs, where each person has 3 packs, and you pick a card and pass to the left and the right, and eventually you'll end up with the stack of cards you use to make a deck. And the great thing about that has been that because we have a pretty big community, we've got a lot of people playing right now, and we're growing by leaps and bounds. Anytime you log in, you're about 1 to 2 minutes away from being able to have a draft fire off and be able to play that sort of competitive side of the game. And I'm addicted to draft. I play all the time, probably too much. So he's beaten me. He's got a big board. I'm going to go ahead and cast Extinction and kill everything.
Where can the people find you?
So if you go to hextcg.com, you can definitely check out everything about this game. There's tons of information there. And as I said, it's actually where you'll access our community. So in the forums, you're able to jump in and start talking to people. And again, we have such a giving community. A lot of people who come in that are brand new will, I started playing the game, I love the game, and the first thing they're going to find is that there's tons of people that want to mail them cards, because we have in the game a full system of being able to trade cards, mail cards to your friends. Like I said, the auction house, they're going to find that people are mailing them commons and uncommons because people have so many of them, and they want to help these new people get into the game. And having such an inviting and loving sort of community around this game has really been sort of the key to our success.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
So we and some co-workers of mine visited you in Gamescom in Hall 10. That's where you can find Hex. And last time we met, we did a little challenge, and now we did another one. You have a photo booth there with the green screen, so you can stand there and take a picture, and then get you on a Hex card. So we did some.
Oh,
and
very cool.
You have to choose who made the silliest face.
Who made the silliest? Oh
Yes.
boy, it's gonna be hard to beat here. Let's see. Yeah, I clearly, clearly, we have a winner.
Alvin.
The other ones are great, don't get me wrong, but I think he's really affected the spider look with
our hands.
I think the hands really made it.
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, and you can see some cosplayers on Hex cards too. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've had a great time at the show. It's been nice to we've had lots of the fans come down and actually check out the game, and that's been great. And it's a good chance for us to talk to people, and we definitely listen to our community. So we've had tons of community feedback about stuff they want to see in the future, which has been remarkable. So here I'm actually going to trigger. Our champions each have a champion power, and so you can do things specifically. In this case, I'm gonna destroy this guy, and I'm gonna give this other guy a buff, because that's what my champion does. And so now I get to attack, and now I've got this 3/3 mosquito, and that's actually a creature that he'd played earlier, because when I was stealing his cards, I got the ability to raise dead out of his discard pile and put it into mine. And this card actually lets me spend health to draw more cards, which I'm going to do. Draw a bunch of cards. So, as I said before, it's free to play. I would love to have people jump in and give the game a try. It's a ton of fun.
Really love the artwork. It's
Oh,
great.
thank you very much. Yeah, we're very proud of it. The game has we use roughly 300 freelance fantasy illustrators to make the game. We book somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 pieces of art every year, and so it's a pretty remarkable number, and we've been able to get some really great talent to work on the game with us. And I think that's been one of the things that's most successful with the game is just how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
Beyond just the in-game graphics, I think what we've been able to accomplish in terms of the card art has been pretty remarkable. Tyler, our art director, is super talented. So you can see here, I've been casting this card, and it's been making. Now I'm drawing 4 cards from my opponent. So. It's getting better and better, and that's escalation. And again, that's a feature, like an escalating card. That's a feature you would really only be able to do in a digital TCG. So here we go. We got this. I think we got this game close to wrapping up. And so yeah, our art director is incredibly talented. The game keeps getting better and better. Why don't I go ahead and show you? I'm gonna get out of this.
Yeah, we don't have much time, so.
We were defeated, although I think I was going to win. We're about to fight a happy storm cloud. That would have been too sad. I'm glad we didn't fight.
Yeah,
the storm cloud.
sadly we don't have enough time for another match.
No, I totally understand. One of the great things in the game that we just added, I'll show you this is the last little thing if you have a chance here.
The fan is blowing my hair in my eyes. Sorry.
So in our pack opening experience, one of the things that we actually give you is not just the cards. We actually give you a treasure chest, and so you can see here our pack opening experience, and it's Kismet, our primal of luck, and so we get these cards, we get our rare, and we get through here, grab that, but then you also get, as you can see here, you get a chest. And so one of the great things that you can do is actually now we just added the ability to open the chest. And so I'll show you the chest opening experience. You can see here, you open up the chest and you actually get some great PvE items, like oh wow, well, we got the brooch of lunacy. So we got a piece of equipment that actually modifies this card. But there's lots of stuff that comes out of the treasure chest, mercenaries, sleeves, even another pack of cards. So you can start the whole process over again. So again, we've been adding more features as we go, and the game gets more and more polished, and by the end of the year, we're going to actually have the first bit of our campaign, which I think will be really remarkable.
Ja, amazing. Ihr solltet es alle mal anfangen, denn es ist, wie gesagt, free to play, und wenn ihr mal reinschnuppern wollt, es gibt hier unten in Halle 10, 10 Point, was? 10.1, genau. Also, schaut vorbei und besucht die lieben Leute. Bis zum nächsten Mal.